A snake longer than a city bus, over 40 feet of muscle and hunger, slithered through post-dinosaur rainforests, weighing as much as a small car. Scientists did not believe the bones were even from a snake at first. Nothing about Titanoboa's size should be possible by today's evolutionary rules. So how did a world exist that could forge a predator this extreme? And what secrets are hidden in the bones it left behind? Deep beneath the humid lowlands of northern Colombia, miners in the Cerrejón coal mine chipped away at ancient rock, uncovering something few could have imagined. The bones they pulled from the mudstone were enormous, so large that seasoned geologists and paleontologists mistook them for the remains of crocodiles or turtles. The Cerrejón site itself is a rare window into a vanished world, preserving not just isolated bones, but an entire ecosystem from nearly 58 million years ago. Colombian geologist Henry Garcia first spotted the strange fossils. But it was not until organized expeditions in the early 2000s that the true scale of the discovery became clear. Smithsonian researchers and their colleagues from the University of Florida sifted through layers of black coal and clay, gradually assembling a puzzle that defied expectations. In a glass display case, a misplaced vertebra caught the eye of paleontologist Jason Bork. A closer look revealed something astonishing. The bone matched the shape of modern anaconda vertebrae, but it was nearly twice the size. As the team combed through the site, more pieces surfaced. In total, they recovered 100 vertebrae from at least 28 individual snakes. This was no isolated giant. These bones belonged to a thriving population. The evidence was overwhelming. Titanoboa coregonensis was not a legend or a fluke. It was a real animal, and its fossils offered a direct line to a time when evolution played by different rules. Titanoboa's measurements read like a misprint. At nearly 47 feet from snout to tail and weighing over a ton, this snake was longer than a city bus and heavier than a small car. Its vertebrae were so thick that a single one could fill 2 adult hands. The largest modern snakes, anacondas and reticulated pythons, can reach 20 feet, maybe 23 on rare occasions. Titanoboa doubled that, with a body so wide it would have brushed your hip if it slithered past. No modern reptile comes close. But the numbers don't just break records, they break expectations. Today's world simply does not allow cold-blooded animals to reach that size. Reptiles rely on warmth from their environment to power their bodies. The Cerrejón fossils point to a time when northern South America was not just hot, but stifling. Average annual temperatures hovered between 86 and 93 degrees Fahrenheit, several degrees above today's tropical forests. Carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere were at least 50% higher than now, trapping heat and turning the region into a greenhouse. Swamps and rivers cut through a rainforest scaled up in every direction. Titanoboa's size is a clue, a living thermometer from a world that ran on different rules. In that ancient heat, evolution did not just stretch boundaries, it shattered them. The result was a snake that seems impossible by any modern standard, a creature that could only exist in an era where the planet itself was supercharged. In the tangled waterways and flooded forests of ancient Colombia, Titanoboa moved like a shadow. Its massive body, thick as a barrel and stretching nearly 50 feet, slipped through the warm, slow-moving rivers, perfectly built for a life spent half submerged. This was not a snake that stalked the forest floor. It was a predator of the water, an ambush specialist that used patience and stealth as its main weapons. Concealed beneath floating plants or buried in soft mud, it waited, motionless and invisible to anything unlucky enough to swim nearby. When prey approached, Titanoboa struck with astonishing speed. Its jaws, lined with backward curving teeth, snapped shut around slippery fish or the armored limbs of a giant turtle. With a single muscular coil, It could crush the life out of animals as large as modern crocodiles. The skull fragments recovered from Cerrijon show a head nearly 16 inches long, with loosely attached teeth, an arrangement found in snakes that eat fish. These dental clues point to a surprising part of Titanoboa's diet. While it could overpower crocodilian relatives, much of its daily hunting likely targeted the enormous fish that filled Paleocene rivers. Living in water was not just about finding food. For a reptile that size, the river was a refuge, a place where its own weight became less of a burden. The water helped support its bulk and kept its body from overheating in the relentless tropical heat. Each meal, a lungfish as long as a man, a turtle with a shell wider than a car tire, fueled a metabolism that depended on the world's warmth. Titanoboa was both hunter and heat seeker, a creature whose daily life was shaped by the river and the sun. No modern reptile approaches Titanoboa's scale, and the reason is simple: heat. Reptiles are cold-blooded, relying on the environment to warm their bodies. For a snake to reach the length of a city bus, the world itself had to turn up the thermostat. Titanoboa needed average temperatures between 30 and 34 degrees Celsius, at least 86 to 93 degrees Fahrenheit, just to function. Even a slight dip below that range would have slowed its metabolism, leaving it sluggish, unable to digest meals, and vulnerable to disease. Size came with steep trade-offs. A giant snake absorbs heat slowly, but it also loses heat slowly, risking overheating if left in the sun too long. After a big meal, digestion could take days, maybe weeks, leaving Titanoboa nearly immobile and at the mercy of its environment. Any drop in temperature could stop the process entirely, turning a successful hunt into a deadly problem. And for a predator this large, finding enough prey, giant fish, turtles, and crocodilians required a vast, stable habitat. Today, the tropics are cooler by just a few degrees, and that difference is enough to set a hard ceiling on reptile size. Modern rainforests are also fragmented by roads, farms, and cities, breaking up the endless rivers and swamps that once stretched across northern South America. Even if a snake the size of Titanoboa could survive the heat, it would have nowhere to roam and nothing large enough to eat. The world that built Titanoboa is gone, and with it, the chance for anything like it to exist again. Temperatures across the ancient tropics began to drop, shifting the balance that once favored giants. As the world cooled, the vast, steamy wetlands of northern South America shrank and fragmented, replaced by drier forests and seasonal rivers. For a snake built on heat and abundance, these changes spelled trouble. The steady warmth that powered Titanoboa's metabolism faded, making it harder for such a massive reptile to function. With wetlands disappearing, the buffet of giant fish, turtles, and crocodilian prey dwindled. At the same time, mammals, once small and scarce, started to multiply and diversify, filling new roles in the food web. Competition increased, and the environment grew less stable. The era that let a one-ton snake thrive was over. Titanoboa's world, once ruled by warmth and water, had closed its doors to giants. Long after Titanoboa vanished from the world's rivers, its story still lingers in stone and imagination. Its extinction was not a sudden collapse, but a gradual fading as climate cooled and the wetlands that once fed giants shrank away. Fossils from Cerrijon offer only silence where the snake once thrived, a record of disappearance written layer by layer in ancient mud. Today, life-size replicas coil through museum halls, drawing crowds who measure themselves against a creature that defies belief. Curators stand alongside these models, using Titanoboa's scale to spark conversations about evolution's wild possibilities and the power of climate to shape life. The lesson is clear. The world that makes monsters can unmake them too. Titanoboa's fossil record is a warning. When climate and ecosystems shift, nature's limits reset, sometimes in ways we cannot imagine. As today's temperatures climb faster than ever recorded, our world is rewriting its own rules. Biology does not care about what makes sense to us. It only cares about survival.